One's a former NFL star turned esports coach.
But I was getting the stink eye from my wife. She's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing."
And one's a dad who can't stop playing Rocket League.
These kids these days, they're like, blah, 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 blah. We're used to jump and run.
Together, they welcome you to Ahman Green's Gamers Lounge. One's a former NFL star turned esports coach.
I was getting the stink eye from my wife. She's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing."
And one's a dad who can't stop playing Rocket League.
These kids these days, they're like, blah, 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 blah. We're used to jump and run.
Together, they welcome you to Ahman Green's Gamers Lounge. One's a former NFL star turned esports coach.
I was getting the stink eye from my wife. She's like, "What you doing?"
And one's a dad who can't stop playing Rocket League.
These kids these days, they're like, blah, 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 blah. We're used to jump and run.
Together, they welcome you to Ahman Green's Gamers Lounge. Once a former NFL star turned esports esports coach.
But I was getting the stink eye from my wife. She's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing."
And one's a dad who can't stop playing Rocket League.
These kids these days, they're like, I used to jump and run.
Together, they welcome you to Ahman Green's Gamers Lounge. One's a former NFL star turned esports coach.
But I was getting the stink eye from my wife. She's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing."
And one's a dad who
We're going to get started. Okay, started off on all games of the group.
We're used to jump and run.
You did. Yeah, I'm not.
Ahman Green's Gamers Lounge.
Fine. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. We're about to get started soon. Lunch is on its way up. We do have free lunch coming. Yes, everybody. So thank you guys for being here. We got free lunch. But tell you guys, right? Being in Native communities, I'm the trick of organized these. After you tell people what you want. So lunch is on its way. We're going to get started. First of all, I want to thank you guys. Thank you guys for being here. As you guys can see, we're getting ready to launch some very important information, and really we've been through a lot of work. I want to give a huge shout out to Native Youth Foundation, Keith, Vasquez, and Aletta Reed, all the work they do, the vision, and not just that, but the collaboration and partnership that they created to make this team bigger, better, and inclusive for Turtle Island. So one thing with that being said, our panel, our discussion is going to be all about girls flag football, but it's going to be the catalyst that helps move the needle forward, right? Too often in Native communities, we think that sports is the end game. I always like to say sports is the catalyst, the stepping stone to help move us forward, to create pathways for careers, for opportunities, and more navigation for our young people to succeed in what they want to do. With that being said, we have a great panel here. We have a lot of great, amazing people here. And I want to tell you guys, it's bigger than sports. Every one of these people up here have an avenue that sports is the connection piece. And I love to say that's how we move the wheel forward. I'm going to let everybody have the time and opportunity to introduce themselves because our voices matter. I want them to share who they are and their why. Everybody has a why, and it's important we know that. So we're going to get it started. The first person I want to introduce, Ryan, is Keith Vasquez. He's going to share who he is and his why.
My name is Keith Vasquez. I'm Southwest Alabama, Kumeyaay Indians, owner of San Diego, California. I'm Event Sports Director for Native Youth Foundation, owner of Res Dog Radio. So my why is to give, of course, it just sounds, but why is to better our communities. And if I can better our communities, it'll trickle down and better our families. So that's my why, because growing up on the reservation, there wasn't a lot of opportunity at the time, and there wasn't a lot of people trying to better themselves in positive ways. They're bettering themselves with other ways. So if we can create positive outlets for our communities, it'll trickle down and it'll seep down to our families.
Yeah, we're just going to move down.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Morris Jackson, owner and operator and founder of Holland Esports Training and XP League Esports Training. My why is very simple. I grew up in a underserved area of town where we didn't have access to opportunities. And it wasn't until organizations like the Keith started, organizations like the YMCA, where I had a chance to believe what the things I could become. So what I've learned is our youth just needs access to information, access to technology, access to opportunities. The more access we give them, the better futures they're going to be able to hold for themselves. And for me, I want to retire. And I'm a little worried about this next generation. So I'm trying to protect myself right now by investing in the next generation to ensure that they have everything they need to succeed and be the best they can be.
My name is Ahman, career Packers all-time leading rusher, and been running 12 years in the NFL and running back for teams. And now part of this group up here, very proud of that fact because me and my chocolate, beyond my parents, I had people in place like coaches, teachers that introduced me to sports and into the IT world. My dad was an IT director at Northrop Aviation in Southern California, and he actually introduced me to PC first, and then Carmen San Diego, Oregon Trail got me going, and then football, flag football, and all that got me next. But the rules was basically have good grades, stay out of trouble, and make sure you listen to my chores around the house. And so that infrastructure started then to set in of accountability, make sure I get my job done whatever task I put in front of me. So between traditional sports taking over, and then later in life, say after football, or esports, got components coming in. It's all kind of in line of what we look for in a well-rounded individual in sports, a well-rounded individual in the workplace, because all the job skills they get either being a traditional sports athlete, esports athlete, playing on a team, goes through the same, learning capabilities, time management, accountability, teamwork, building confidence among each other to support each other when they're on a team. And so that's where I've been in this category, being part of the Girls Celebrity Flag. Been back in San Francisco this year was a great event, and then back in November being part of American Gig in Minnesota with Mike and his team that brought me in there. That was just the start of something that, where I feel, is going to be just the beginning of a long road of good stuff coming down for Native youth, where I know I'm involved, where I could come and change the game and have everybody, develop and cultivate the young kids today, to then they'll be starting, going to colleges, going to D1s, earning full rides at schools like my school, University of Nebraska, and other schools, so on and so forth, but have the resources they need that I had growing up as a kid as well. So, thank you very much.
That's very powerful. We appreciate Ahman being here. I can see anyone in the world to be here with Native youth moving that needle forward. Thank you. We're going to go next with our next panelist.
Hi, I'm Alea Vasquez. That's my dad. I have played football since 8 years old, starting off playing with the boys, and then eventually we started our first girls team about, I'd say, we did our first tournament like 5 years ago, but it was only one season, then it fell off, and then now it's becoming this big thing. It's now in the Olympics. I've really enjoyed it, playing flag football, even when I wasn't playing with just the girls. It's I enjoy watching football, playing football. It's just a big part of my life now. And I've always enjoyed being able to. I played it last year, was my last year, and now I'm coaching and helping my dad in that aspect. And then I'm now going to give back to my community in the other way of working at the Indian Health Clinic in Rincon and doing the 988 program. So just helping people in that aspect all throughout my country.
Good. What time is it? It's like morning stuff. Good morning. My name is Samar Kajanori. I work with FNX. It is Native National Native World Indigenous PBS radio station. So not only do we broadcast on television, we now have an app where you can stream on all your smart devices, which is cool because what that does is that brings positive cultural representation to your smartphone, whether it's your auntie, your nephew, your cousin, your grandpa, all together. we have something dedicated just for our community. And I realized that was so important. I also work for Utah Navajo Health System, and it's a boots on the ground experience. And I work remotely, but I bounce between my res and Southern California because it allows me to take things that are going on at home, create content, bring it to the station, and vice versa. And for me, finding ways to create avenues for young people that comes to media. And I discovered through flag football. He introduces himself to me one year at Res. You want to provide opportunities for our youth? Of course, yes. How about our native girls? Mm-hmm. Oh, no, yes. And he said, oh, what about more scholarship opportunities? I'm all in. He said, great. We have an event, a celebrity flag football team. Cool. I was under the assumption he wanted me to attend with the camera. So I'm like, okay, great. I'll be there. What are we going to do? And then, let's get your jerseys. And, oh my gosh. What have you done? And it's been really exciting. So we just had the second year. My first jersey was really cool to see just even my own representation. So made on the back of the jersey to support our young players. I thought, this is the real thing, so then I got really excited. So I took again the second year, and I think moving forward, finding any ways that we can utilize our platforms or our talents, or even if you're not that talented, put yourself out there and find ways to support our young people, because flag football, it's amazing the popularity and the growth that we've been seeing, even myself. Witnessing in the past 2-3 years has been tremendous, and I'm excited to see in the next few years either female athletes playing or some opportunity in the Olympics. And that's possible. You just have to present the opportunity.
Yeah, that's, one thing I want to say is thank you all. Thank you all for that, for sharing your guys' why. One thing I asked that question with your why is because beyond the surface level iceberg, right? We gotta have an emotional attachment to the things we do. That's where purpose comes in. So you guys all see the passion behind everything that these guys shared. And then the thing I want to point out is you guys see the differences. You guys see 4 or 5 different people here, panelists here, all working different avenues with the same mission and goal. Our young people, opportunities, and moving that needle forward. So that's where you can see the pathways. When we talk about pathways, you can see the opportunities that it can create. And you can see the different diversities all leading to one goal. That's what it takes. Our whys drive us, our purpose leads us, and our passions fill us. So I wanted to say we all have that, we all bring that. It's going to lead me into my next question, which I'm going to be asking Alea, right? I'm going to put it on the spot. The first question I have for you, right, is why girls flag football? She shared briefly on it during the introduction, but I want to hear and empower our young ladies, right? We got to get to the voice. Why girls flag football?
Okay. I've always felt respect to the here, but that in the aspect of playing football, I think it's not only a physical thing but also a mental thing, right? You have to know all the positions, you have to know what everyone does, what everyone's supposed to do, and so I believe, personal opinion, that as a woman I retain that faster than some men would. And so being able to be on playing football since I was about 8 years old, and then of course having my dad there who coaches all the time, so I'm hearing constant things. And then so then being able to play now to the point where we've been playing for 2-3 years with the all girls team who are just from the reservations around us, and they're all family. So being able to teach them with past knowledge of football, so being able to teach them how to play this position, do this position, being on the field and helping all these girls basically become a very good flag football player, which can lead to bigger opportunities, especially now. Tons of colleges are picking up the sport. It's becoming a big thing. scholarships are always available to play, especially now. It's just like a huge thing, especially with the coming into the Olympics. I enjoy the physicality of it. I enjoy you having to pick up others while also playing really aggressive, fixing people's mistakes, because it is a team sport. I played golf for a lot of my life as well. So I know the both aspects of you just playing solo and it's all on you, and then you play as a team, which is very different. So having to play as a team, help everyone out as a team, it sets you up for different aspects in life. So like being able to help my dad coach now, help these girls who I have seen basically go from not knowing nothing to now knowing a good amount of football is pretty cool.
So you guys, I love the perspective, right? I always like to say, to help move that needle with our young people, we got to hear their voice, right? When people ask me the simple question of what do you think our young people need, I go say, I tell them, ask them and they're right. So that's why I wanted to make sure that we opened up with our young voice, right? That's the voice of our young leaders, the female, that's helping lead the charge because they deserve to be faces. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and navigate this next question to Keith, the father, right? Why flag football? And just real quick to the point, why flag football? You know, what's the reasons behind it? Why do we start?
Because unfortunately, in Native American communities or reservations, a lot of boys and girls are either fatherless or motherless, right? Raised by their grandparents or single home households. So being that community, seeing that with the boys, the same goes for the girls. And so being that father figure / father figure is important. As you can see, I've seen what it's done for myself and my daughter, giving her confidence to step in a room of people she don't even know and speak with confidence, right? So I could provide that for any other Indigenous girl because we're already a backseat, right? So we gotta work twice as hard to give them the confidence they need. That's why I do it, because they need more men in their lives to help them get where they need to get. So me and my brother were talking about that. We're just building this to make it secure, safe, and confident for the young women to take over and run this movement of breast growing. That's why.
That's beautiful answer, right? I hate statistics because when I think of statistics, I think of our real life community members, our relatives, right? But if you think about the struggles of Native American people, and then you think about the struggles and lack of opportunities for our Native women, you got to think of the realities of our communities, right? And like he said, if we want to touch on the importance of positive male role models in lives, it's, you can't put a price tag on it, you can't put a number on it, because lives, they matter more than anything. And the impact that men make in the lives of young women is astronomical, right? And to have space, that's what matters. That's the deeper thing of what Girls Flag Football brings to the table when men lead the charge. It's just providing that safe space. In the context of Native American society, it's bringing back that warrior spirit to let the matriarch thrive and lead the charge, right? That's always what the society's thinking about. So we're just bringing that back to the forefront. I'm going to ask the next question, right? It's still why Girls Flag Football, but it's also the component to move past sports. So I'm going to go ahead and ask this next question, kind of a double layered question to my guy Morris. Right, Morris, I want to ask you, why Girls Flag Football, or what's the pathway connection to what you do?
Yeah, great question. Why female or girls flag football is because of equality. Right, I think a lot of times when you see a lot of sports industries or sports in specifically, it's male dominated or male forward. So how we advertise, how we share, how we talk about it. It's always the male figure. But women have always played a strong part of any male's success, right? My mom was a big part of my success. Matter of fact, I got 3 mothers and a wife still love me today. So it's always been a part of any man's success. And putting women on a platform where you can show what they can do and what they can become is huge. It's done for his daughter. Look at who she is today and what she's become because of how sports does deliver not just confidence, but it delivers an opportunity to expose you to different things in life like leadership, teamwork, communication, collaboration. It's huge. Why female flag football is just giving women access. And then how does it connect to esports now? Esports is the fastest growing sport. More and more kids today, they're growing up with digital devices. And gaming is not going anywhere. It's only going to become and be consumed more by our younger generation. But when that's being said, how do we start to teach and educate and grow through this medium? That's where esports come in. We don't have to isolate the school from the same teamwork, competition, collaboration, and quality that flag football can bring. We use what flag football has done to create structure, create organization, create this infrastructure that is needed to help grow kids through this platform, young men and young women. But most importantly with these sports is putting women in the forefront. The great thing about esports is that the computers is the ultimate neutralizer, right? Whether you're male, female, young, old, short, tall, it doesn't matter what you are. Anyone can compete, anyone can play. So it actually gives females more and greater opportunity. And I have to agree with this, Alea, right? I have to agree with Alea. Women, I see have a greater opportunity to advance even further in esports because their ability to retain information, maintain emotions, right? All of that is a big part of this, where it really helps accelerate the growth of players. So I really see esports as a catalyst to build upon what Keith has done with the growth of Native Youth Football League. And so esports can be a complement to that. And you're also seeing a lot of the skills that are being learned in esports transfer over to this reaction time, strategy, fast twitch muscles. I mean, all those things are complements to traditional sports. So we always tell our kids it's not esports or traditional sports. It's esports and traditional sports. They both are benefits and complements to each other to help kids excel.
I love that answer. That's very beautiful. You know, when he was talking about that, I always think of this concept that you and Keith talk about this quite a bit. If you think of a wheel, you watch it roll, right? The center of the wheel has a foundation, and the thing that connected are the spokes. Look at all the spokes that help the wheel roll. We want you guys to help these spokes to help strengthen that wheel, help it roll in a positive way, and be a connected piece to help move that needle forward. I'm going to go ahead. I got some great questions to touch on that. But one thing I know Morris talked about, we briefly talked about this, and Sahar talked about this in her introduction, about the power and potential of media, authenticity, representation, and why Native Americans need to be able to control the narrative, not just through sports, media, esports, but through everything, right, as a whole. So I'm going to go ahead, and my next question to Sahar is, what is the benefits beyond sports, but that help, like sport being the driving factor, what are the benefits and career opportunities that after sports is leading?
These kids these days, they're like,
So the role of sport, aside from that, so many people that are working off the field to make it all happen. And talking about all the different industries that support the athletes on the field, we're watching the screen. We see the narrow scope of the agents to the merchandisers to folks who are the commentators. It's exciting to see how many avenues people can explore. If you love sports, like an athlete, that's fabulous. But that means you got passion and you understand what you are passionate about. Now might be what you're talented in and how you plug that in. So this next generation for FNX is finding ways that we can continue to celebrate indigeneity through athletics, and finding ways that we can encourage and inspire the next generation. And whether that's highlighting stories of awesome athletes from the past or fabulous people who are in sports currently. I mean, we're a very small team right now. But every lunch, there's not a single lunch that doesn't go without a mouthful of food saying, okay, well, what's next? How do we get the young people to get excited about it? And so it's creating opportunities in sports through media is that solution. I want to see an army of young people, or even at any age, actually. I don't want to limit that. People who have a passion for something and finding ways that they can utilize their talents and meet that passion. That's how we create a dynamic community. So that's the goal at the station. And then when you have an idea and my brain's toast and you're like, hey, you thought of XYZ, tell me. I'm here. I'm all ears. I love partnerships. I love collaborations. I love finding ways to just bounce ideas off.
And you guys can see, right? We're not just talking about it. We're all here. We've actually created it. We're already doing the work. And one thing I will say, right? Sahar is perfect with that explanation because she played athletics, right? I know her story a little bit. She played athletics as most of us did as a youth. And all of a sudden, fast forward, she's in charge of FNX, the First Nation Experience, media. She's doing media. She's finding components to be successful with the sports background. She played the celebrity. She was there doing that and helping us out. One thing I will want to touch on that is we have a fashion designer, Rebecca Jarvie, who once again does a lot of great things in the fashion industry. One thing I will remember her talking to Keith and Noletta saying, it's been so long since sports, since physical health has been part of my life. Thank you guys for bringing me back into the youth and reminding me how important that is in my life. She's been on a health workout frenzy since last year in New Orleans. So the next thing I want to do, right? We talked about opportunities. We talked about what it can create, right? It's always great to try to bridge what it can look like. I want to tell you guys, we have somebody in the living flesh that's doing exactly what we're talking about. We have Ahman Green here. Ahman Green, NFL athlete, Cornhusker national champion, Hall of Fame for the Green Bay Packers. His career has transitioned out because that's life. But he's still part of the game, and I'm going to let him share some of that. But he's still part of the game through esports. He does a lot of esports. And like I said at the beginning of this, if we want to change the lives of our young people, we might have ideas. We might have a vision. But if we want to bridge that gap and help those young people cross, we got to meet them where they're at. We got to realize we're in the 21st century. Everybody has a phone. We got TikTok. We got social media. We got internet streaming video games. That's the new era of today. Whether we like it or not, whether we're old or not, we got to realize if we want to help impact the next generation, we can't tell them to get on our level. We have to get to their level. And Ahman Green's an expert at it. He's on their level, tapping in right there where they are. So it's not really a question. I want to have Ahman Green share with you the impact and how he makes from being an actual athlete to being an esport athlete now. And the transition, the benefits, and the opportunities that takes.
Thank you, to Kansas. But yeah, so when he's talking about my journey into the esports world, into basically broadcasting, it's something that I've been around since a long time, since I was a kid. I was watching football, watching baseball, watching running back, basketball game on TV and stuff like that. But as an athlete, knowing that in the game of football, what Lake mentioned, what their job is, learning that through the process of being a little bigger, high school, college, in the NFL, in my career, being interviewed after a game, being interviewed, after a game we won, after a game we lost, being interviewed after we've been a playoff game, fourth or 26 game. Understanding the composure that you gotta have to get on the mic and talk about yourself in a way, and your team, even though y'all just lost a game where things were didn't go your way, you still gotta be professional. You gotta take it like a champ for a week. So all those situations and all those interviews I've had, from college to the NFL and now after, I took that and I saw a path. And that path was like, wait a minute, I had all these skills that I didn't even realize I learned. Was having the confidence. Back in elementary school and middle school, I was a quiet kid. I did raise my hand. People told me to speak. I was like, so you couldn't get too words. Now, I get a microphone. To a panel. That's our player here. And my man Morris, I could go back. But that was because of the confidence behind what you opportunity came for me to shoutcast video games. in Halo and Madden.
And one's a dad who
all
can't
the
stop
time.
playing Rocket League.
These kids
They
these
were
days, they're
not
like,
crazy. This is what I did with my kid. I got fun.
Together,
But now,
welcome
even
you
though,
to Ahman
say, like I
Green's
mentioned,
Gamers
just
Lounge.
it's something for fun now. This is a job and another skill that I'm building on a resume that I'm building. You know, at the time, I got out of the NFL in 2009. I started coaching high school football in 2012. I got a chance to coach my stepson. It made him and helped him stay running, along with more shoutcasts on weekends out in New York City with Microsoft or Halo and things like that. And just picking up the contacts, picking up the skills again, like I said, just not knowing that I'm learning big things after football. And I'm in my 30s, almost 40 years old at the time. Still learning. And so what then I brought to the esports world when I had the opportunity to coach my first stint at Lakeland University. I saw the relation between esports and traditional sports. So I knew that if I'm going to go develop an esports team from the ground up, that means I got to do what my college football coaches did to me. They recruited. They looked for talent. They looked for players that had certain things about them. For football, size, it was speed, it was agility, able to think fast, pressure situation. So me, it was kind of the same thing. I build a roster, all the team. I got to make sure I got individuals that can think of their lives facts, that can call out information to their teammates and not be mad at them if they don't hear it. Just repeat it and do it over again so they can be a leader. We call that our IGL. So false, relation, that's the quarterback. That's the strong safety on defense of the middle linebacker. So relating that to my football career, baseball career as well, and football, literally made the transition for me a little bit easier. And everybody that goes asking, man, how you do it? How you coach an esports right now? How'd you get a Madden championship in your first year? I said, well, one, I've been playing Madden. I was first generation Madden. 1988. All right. So, and then, I did play a little football in college. I did play a little football in the NFL. I think I know my running around virtual football field. So, I had the opportunity to win that tournament my first season at the esports coach at Lakeland University. So, with that, then all the players I had their attention because they knew I wasn't just this football player with the name that could go take over a program. No, I was a football player with initiative to make sure all the kids that I recruited that year, all those years at Lakeland, would become around jerks. Because I wanted to be the people first before they became good games. So you had to have the grades right. You had to show up all the time, just like anything else. Things that simply put my mom and dad put on me. I was 5 years old when I started with that PC and when I started playing basketball. So it was my parents first, my coaches, my teachers, were the people that reinforced that home training to make sure when I'm out in public, I got common sense, I know how to act right, and also take care of business when I need to. Either playing football, coaching, which I'm doing now. So being a part, connecting the key with the girls' flag football, with following esports, are all aligned with my past because I saw the relation and I saw the transition of what a traditional athlete can do. For the traditional sports athletes that I had in the room that year at Lakeland in 2020, all of them understood the process of becoming a real Fortnite player, a Call of Duty player, Rainbow Six Siege, or a Madden player, or NBA 2K, because they've been through it. They already been on football. They played soccer. They played baseball. My best players were the traditional sports athletes. They already got so there's nothing changing in them other than the fact that was it.
And I'm sorry to cut you off. I just wanted to you touched on I wanted to really get asked again on this question, right? So you guys can see his upbringing transitions into not just the ability to play sports, but the ability to transition the skills he learned in sports into life skills, right? Communication piece. One piece that we failed to talk about is the learning how to lose piece, the learning how to be adverse in the toughest times, and whether we like it or not, that's the component that sports brings to the table. Is no matter what, there's always a winner or a loser in life. We got to be able to learn how to lose and how to respond back with that, and that's what literacy is, right? With that being said, though, the transition piece, right? When I talk about when Navy Youth talks about trying to move the needle, we're not just saying, hey, flag football is going to be the thing that changes lives. No, flag football is the opportunity. Esports is the opportunity. Media is the opportunity. Coaching is the opportunity. The catalyst and the unification piece is flag football, or it is sports. But transitioning with those skills, you guys can see it. Ahman's the living proof of what can happen when you can correlate that. And Ahman, just how powerful was that transition is. And then once again, it's not an easy task to actually transition. You need a lot of good navigate that.
Yeah, like Warren said, it starts at she's been with me for 20 years, and been through a lot of things in our life and then things in marriage. And to have her as my support system, just like I had my mom and dad, and when I was a kid, same thing. I had two older brothers that taught me how to be a running back and how to be a man. Along with my stepdad and my mom. Same, and then now with my wife, we got 4 daughters and a son that we raised together. Like I said, I was able to coach my son his senior year of high school, helped him become an all-state running back, and something that was, I could just no words for that to describe how I felt. And he's also a big kid. He's engaged now with the kids that are going. So, and my daughters as well, all strong, growing just like Leia here. One daughter is a deputy sheriff in Dallas. Another daughter is a mental health therapist for children in Arizona. Another daughter took a break from COVID and going to be receiving her, doctorate, being a heart brain doctor here in the next couple of years. And my last daughter is a medical assistant, so we did our job there. And so now, how I'm looking at it is, you know what? I just inherited a whole bunch of daughters, sons. Between the football, all-star games, just the way we do it, competition and tournaments that we'll be doing. Because what I pointed out, and I'll get done, like I said, I could go like a cross. Like my mom said, it's like cross price off the cross. So let me finish up here. Between Keith and Mike in the back, in terms of the programs there that we got going between the girls and the guys, I saw right away the one big plan is the development in the offseason. Because something that got me to Nebraska, something that got me to the NFL was the fact all-season training was cannabis, number one. All-season training is not going into paying it. I say today for some athletes it is paying personal training, but if a football player plays baseball, plays basketball, runs track, plays volleyball, swims, tennis, golf, whatever, rides your bike in the neighborhood every day, you're doing something different. You're training another part of your body that you're not going to wear out. Because if you play football 24/7, if you play basketball year-round, those basketball muscles eventually fail because they're overused. You got to play other sports to make your body be able to adjust to run hit it. So that's where I was talking about the key. I think you got to develop these young athletes, giving them support system, knowing an all-season training program and what that looks like. Because that's what I was talking about. Football, powerlifting, the track, for 4 years of high school. And that made it year today.
One thing that I love what Ahman touched on again was he talked about the different sports you can play to make yourself feel all around. One thing that I want to touch on real quick, and Morris might talk about this, but we're going to start wrapping this out. The thing I want to talk about is he talked about the breaks you got to give your body, your muscles, right? If you guys can think of the video games you play, Madden, Call of Duty, the different things you do there, them are mental reps. Them are mental reps you get in your head. When we were at a meeting yesterday at Holland, we left, and I told Keith, I said, man, it reminded me honestly of my college football days when we would watch film sessions of practice. And we would watch different things. I said, you don't need to wear and tear your body. You just run through Madden in a scenario, and hey, our brains are going to process that because we visually saw it. And I don't have to risk injury no more, right? But the mental reps that we can get now because of social media, because of the technology we have, that's how we move this full circle, right? To move that needle to get forward. You know, this panel is coming to an end. I know a lot of you guys, I see us looking our lips, getting hungry. I can feel inhale, I got that food, I'm ready to eat, right? You know, but so the next thing I want to ask, we're going to finish this up. I want to ask every panelist, right? The question I want to ask every one of you guys. So we're going to start with Keith. Everybody, we move down to your answer ready, right? So everybody at this panel, everybody up here, I want you guys to think of, right? Think of our ancestors, the strength they had for us to be here today, and we have the opportunity to create more, to bring people in. If you thought about the next 7 generations that you wanted our young people to benefit from, what does that look like? does the next 7 generations look like through Girls Flag, through esports, through everything you do, Ahman, through the coaching and giving back through 988 that Aleo wants and through media, right? In a nutshell, and a quick, what does the next 7 generations look like for you? Why do we want these people to be involved?
First of all, I'll give a shout out to Mike Stock over there, the Native American Athletic Foundation over there. We partnered with World Flag and the Boise. Shout out Mike over there. So what it looks like for me is I'm a grandpa, right? I got a granddaughter, so it would be my great-great-granddaughters running this program. Girls, board playing in the Olympics by 2028, if not 2032, having all this girls movement ran by all females, right? Whether it's coaching, the media, and all that. That's what I see is them, us starting it and them running it and taking it to a whole nother level and hopefully creating an indigenous girls professional football league and just creating more opportunities all across their life.
Together, they welcome you to
I would say for me, when it comes to Valhalla and XP League and ESC, which myself and Ahman are heavily involved in, it's actually 4 things, and I'll make these quick. The first one is giving the youth access to careers. I mean, you think about it, we're moving forward, and we have to help our kids move forward, looking through the front windshield, not a rear view mirror. So looking at careers that are going to be replaced by AI, robotics, you can't help that. We're not going to stop AI tomorrow. It's already here, it's growing, it's growing fast. So providing kids with the opportunities to identify careers that they're passionate about. You said it best earlier, meeting our kids where they're at today. They're not at the park like they used to be, but they're at home playing video games. That's their third space. So why not meet them at that space and show them all the great opportunities that exist in this world through media, through content creation, through professional gaming, through all the careers that esports influences. The second thing I'm going to see is us develop kids that will play professionally, but also play in the Olympics as well. Just like just like flag football is going into the Olympics in 2028, so is esports. Esports is now an Olympic sport, and so now we have the opportunity to develop the next career of esports athletes in the Olympics. And I would love to see our kids be developed, grown, and just accelerate there through Valhalla and XP League. So that's a second goal. Third goal would be to see us be the source of scholarships. There's over 280 colleges right now giving full ride scholarships to youth esports gamers. The problem is only 40% of those scholarships go used. 60% go unused because these colleges can't find the kids, not until we came. With our 60 locations across the United States, it allows colleges to find these young men and young women to play for their universities. You have universities like Syracuse, Boise State, Utah University. They're offering full ride scholarships to kids. They have millions of dollars they're looking to give away, and they can't because they can't find the kids. So we are going to be that source to help find the kids. And the last one for me is to ensure that every tribe, every native reservation has not only their own league, but their own team. This is an opportunity for us to create and own a piece of an industry that no one can interfere with. We were talking about it earlier. It's difficult to own a football team. It's difficult to own a baseball team. There's too many barriers. There is no barrier to owning an esports team. So we have the opportunity to take advantage of an industry that is untapped, take advantage of an industry that is growing and growing fast, and take advantage in controlling what our youth and how our youth is grown, how they're developed, and really what their future is going to look like 7 years or 7 generations from now.
Yeah, I'm going to echo Keith there. Again, I'm a 6-year-old granddaughter as well, so I'm looking at professional sports, 7 generations, I'm looking at diverse athletes streaming on Twitch, playing video games, building their following. I see native tribe reservations, having all the resources they need, and Morris mentioned and Keith has already mentioned, and mentioned, and have all what they need for college schools, for every college sport out there before to have that support system to get through and earn a D1 scholarship without an issue, without no hiccups. There'll be bumps in the road because it's not smart. So I know I don't have 4, but those 2 right there I think all can be right there for her.
I say, right? We all need one wide.
For me, I would say to see more Native American women and girls be in flag football. Just starting now, because especially through intertribal sports, they started a girls' team this year. And so you've seen a bunch of different girls who come and play or are interested in the sport. And to just watch everyone around kind of learn more about it, play, move on to college, past college Olympics. Just eventually see Native American women playing flag football in the Olympics. And then, as everyone's saying, sports translates to life, right? So with my dad and my Uncle John through the Native Youth Foundation, through that is how I actually got my job at Indian Health Clinic for doing the community outreach for the 988 program. That experience that they've given me to go play sports, and also I do the social media, I do talking to everybody around here. That's why I'm up here today. So it's just like being able to talk to all these people, kind of shout out my dad, shout out my mom who's in the background, just seeing how everything plays into the aspects. It allowed me to have opportunity to go and give back to my community at home through the 988 program, which is the suicide hotline number. So you go ahead and just mental health is really big, especially now. So being able to focus in from sports to now mental health and giving back in that way is very awesome.
7 generations, my vision is to have a productive, healthy, and supported community in every capacity. I think we have all the potential. Now we just need to implement it and carry it out. I think through support, even at the younger, in those teen years, to show them that support, that excitement, that encouragement, and to see who they are now, especially through utilizing football to create a bigger. I see the community growing. I see that mental health. 7 generations from now, I can see more support. I see a really brilliant future for our young people, and for them to turn around and translate that support into the generation after.
Hey, those are all beautiful answers. I'm just afraid of you get to hear their hearts, their passions, and what our future looks like, right? I'm gonna go a little bit off script. I got 2 last things I want to do for you guys, right? One last thing is I'm really putting somebody on the spot. I want to give a huge shout out to one of our Native Indigenous celebrities that has joined us today. I want to ask them if they could just share a quick little message for you guys. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to ask a good friend, a brother of ours, Taboo, who's joining us, just to share an impact, right? His support, being here for us, means a lot. So Taboo can, just share a little bit of like why he helps our Native community, right? It takes us all, right? No matter if you're on the top, you're just starting, everywhere in between. We need people, we need leaders, we need coaches, volunteers. We need it from the top to bottom. And having these panelists, having every one of you, having Taboo here, look at the wheel we can create for our
Thank you. Steve, you're the radical pastor in the evangelist. As you can tell, I'm a Marvel guy. So that's what I said. So first of all, let me give you your flowers. I want to look at each one of you and say thank you. Thank you for advocating for us. And thank you as a girl for being that representation too. When we're talking about indigenous women or just women, multicultural, the fact that we can advocate and be examples and role models for our youth. That's it. Hey guys, we want to provide an opportunity for our youth to learn the skill, learn what it's like. I love what you said about you don't have to be the player on the field. You don't have to be the guy bouncing the ball. You can learn about being a coach. You can be the assistant. You can be a videographer. But if you're still part of the organization, MC Wolf is not even that.
MC1 is a DJ for the Oklahoma City Thunder. He got his ring too. He's a champion because he provides the music for the Oklahoma City Thunder, the NBA team. So I just want to share some positive encouragement. You know, these folks are heroes without peace. I love everything that you want to share. I want to talk to you, sidebar about ways that I can help in any way, utilizing my passion and my key as a musician and artist. Just all the things that I want to embody, just with humility to just be in the service any way I can, because the youth are our future and they are now, right? I just want to be an example because my grandmother, this is the work that my grandmother was doing before she passed away. Now all I'm doing in Indian country is continuing the legacy of my grandmother. She's the one that told me, believe you can achieve. And I was in her living room performing as a kid, which in turn led me to perform at the Super Bowl in 2011. Thank you. But it was that belief that was instilled from a hero, like an adult, like my grandmother, like you guys, who are heroes. Advocating for our kids, stepsons, families. My mom is, I mean, my wife is like my mom sometimes too. Shit. Keep it up. So I love what you said because it is. It takes a village to come together and be examples and affection, and implement the ways that we can provide inspiration and opportunity for them. So I just want to thank you guys for listening. I'm going to shut the fuck up. These guys are the heroes. Thank you.
So I didn't have to do for that. I really appreciate that because I really did for us. And one other person I want to give a huge shout out to, you heard his name before, Mike Stop in the back. He's done a great thing. Lastly, I want to give a huge shout out. I want to give a huge shout out to one person that helped move the needle forward. They want to be unsung, right? But I always like to give everybody their flowers like that. Right. So I want to introduce our guy Brian from Brook King right here. So Brian does a lot of great things. I'm gonna let him kind of share just quickly with you guys. But Brian, I'm gonna be real, right? The work we do, we need support. We need allies. We need people to join the mission to help move that needle. Brian, his support comes in the form of he's going to tell you and let you know what he's backing us. He's here for Native youth. He's here for indigenous people. He's helping move that needle forward. We all have a place. We all have a spoke to that wheel. Brian, our guy, he's helping move that needle. Brian, let us know who you are, why you're here.
Thank you very much. My name is Brian, and I had the opportunity really to be on the outside looking in. I grew up in San Diego around 4 reservations and ran around with these guys, you know, as kids and through all the crazy and watched these guys coming from a place where they felt like they had a small voice until they had some mentorship to help them realize that their voice is just as powerful, if not more powerful than anybody else's. Because what do we all like better than anything? Either a comeback story or someone coming from absolutely nothing. That can all be, you know, whatever your success is, what your success is. So what's happened now is I was involved in Johnny and Keith. I've known them for many years, and they gave me the opportunity through my company to provide some sponsorship and help with some toy drives, and you know, all without the thought of not needing anything. But what's happened is it's all come full circle now. So their tribe was just actually received the second largest energy grant in the nation, and it almost chokes me up a little bit to think about it. But they got this big grant, and a couple, you know, people from their council at the reservation told me that I'm a small contractor in San Diego, and they said that I should come and bid on this project, and I got the project. So what that comes from is what happens now is now I have the opportunity to come here, help support this cause, further help support their cause. And the one thing that I learned through mentorship is that, you know, we don't always believe in ourselves, but if you have someone behind you telling you, why not you? You know, I think that's the biggest strength, right? Why not you? So congratulations to you guys. You definitely are the heroes. And thank you for allowing me to support this cause. Thank you.
Thank you. Lastly, you guys, round of applause for all of you guys, right? If you guys were here to see a bunch of us talking to each other, so thank you guys, really appreciate you. With that being said, you guys, there's a million ways to be involved. There's a million ways to be involved. If you guys want, there's a QR code right on front, scan that, there's ways to be involved. Reach out to any one of us. Hey, and if you guys really want to be involved, we can come to your community, we can help get the ball rolling. There's a lot of great people. Once again, I want to share this last thing. Our time is the greatest thing we have. So for you guys today, thank you guys for sharing your time, giving us an hour of your time. It's more valuable than anything in the world. We appreciate you guys. I hope you guys go forward inspired. I hope you guys come help us move the needle for the youth and throughout our communities. Being involved any way you can. And lastly, you guys, I hope you all enjoy the meal that was provided by our sponsors. Thank you guys for spending our afternoon with us. We'll be back. Thank you. Come on in, get some food.
NFL star turned esports coach.
That's thank God for my wife. She's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing."
Dad, who can't stop playing
We're used to jump and run.
together, they welcome you to Ahman Green's Gamers Lounge.
Hey, also real quick, guys, after you guys get your food, make sure you not eat without eating. I do want to remind you, so if you guys see some of the shirts that we're wearing on the panel, Red Girls and Flag, if you guys go see Keith and Noletta, they're doing some pre-orders, and I know they can get them out. We're going to be selling these for promotion, take it back to your reservation. These movements are important. I always say our native people sometimes are last people to the table. We want to be ahead of the game. We want to be equal and be able to jump with. So hey, if anybody's interested in your shirt, keep in the letter right over there. So they can do some pre-orders. There's other things available. Come up, get some pictures. We got a small drink in the house. We got cat food. Thank you guys.
One's a former NFL star turned esports coach.
But I was getting this thank God for my wife. She's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing."
Hey, thanks, brother.
We're used to jump and run.
Together, they welcome you to Ahman Green's Gamers Lounge.
Yeah.
One's a former NFL star turned esports coach.
But I was getting this thank God for my wife. She's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing."
One's a dad who can't stop playing Rocket League.
These kids these days, they're like, we're used to jump and run.
Together, they welcome you to Ahman Green's Gamers Lounge.
I know.
One's a former NFL star turned esports coach.
Thank God for my wife. She's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing."
And one's a dad who can't stop playing Rocket League.
These kids these days, they're like, we're used to jump and run.
Together, they welcome you to Ahman Green's Gamers Lounge.
Good work. It's all about you.
One's a former NFL star turned esports coach.
But I was getting the thank God for my wife. She's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing."
One's a dad who can't stop playing Rocket League.
These kids these days, they're like, we're used to jump and run.
Together, they welcome you to Ahman Green's Gamers Lounge.
That was cool too.
Starting to this year. And so I plan to play for the next year. I don't know. Yeah.
So you get Unity?
Yeah.
One's a former NFL star.
Oh,
Thank God
Yeah.
for my wife. She's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing."
And one's a dad who can't stop playing Rocket League.
These kids these days, they're like, we're used to jump and run.
Together, they welcome you to Ahman Green's Gamers Lounge.
You too. Nice to meet you.
one's a former NFL star turned esports coach.
But I was getting the stink eye from my wife. She's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing."
And one's a dad who can't stop playing Rocket League.
These kids these days, they're like, we're used to jump.
Together, they welcome you to Ahman Green's Gamers Lounge. One's a former NFL star turned esports coach.
But I was getting the stink eye from my wife. She's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing."
And one's a dad who can't stop playing Rocket League.
These kids these days, they're like, we're used to jump and run.
Together, they welcome you to Ahman Green's Gamers Lounge.
Did you? I don't know. We're all there. And then, and then
NFL star turned esports coach. And one's a dad who can't stop playing Rocket League.
These kids these days, they're like,
Together, they welcome you to Ahman Green's Gamers Lounge.
One of those, I'm just like, if it fits and it's comfortable, I'm good.
One's a former NFL star turned esports coach.
But I was getting the stink eye from my wife. She's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing."
And one's a dad who can't stop playing Rocket League.
these kids these days, they're like, we're used to jump and run.
Together, they welcome you to Ahman Green's Gamers Lounge.
Good, how you doing?
One's a former NFL star turned esports coach.
I was getting the steak eye from my wife. She's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing."
And one's a dad who can't stop playing Rocket League.
These kids these days, they're like, we're used to jump and run.
Together, they welcome you to Ahman Gamers Lounge.
Don't think so. Let's see. Straight. I have a digital card.
That's
Pass
fine.
it over to you.
I'll have a digital card too.
So,
Wanna go through this? Okay. So you want to this too?
is that the top of someone? No.
Yeah.
So the.
So I'm Chris with Crystal.
Okay.
Yeah, so we do stuff with Crystal. So
Oh,
what about Crystal?
okay.
Crystal.
Oh, on health and listen.
Well, the healthcare side, we get one time.
Okay.
Now, were you getting
No, this is the first time I did have anything with like the questions.
so that's what we did.
I was getting
Yeah,
the steak eye from my wife. She's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing."
So they did the fractions. And we did it with like women in sports.
Oh,
So, you know, she's kind of sports.
We're used to
Yeah.
jump.
So we did women in sports, then they did each other's all the time. But we have our legends that we did too for all the chiefs and everything. That was pretty cool.
Let's definitely like if you guys are interested, you know. So that's one of the things with coming back. Like I was saying once to I read it's coming back to motivations. All of them are my cousin.
Oh, for sure. No, I get it. Yeah.
But it's like
We do some stuff together.
perfect. Yes, absolutely.
Did you get me? I was vibrating. Okay. What did you do?
I'm doing June.
June.
June. I'm in my last trimester, so this is the last like event thing. I was like, my husband was like, let's do first. Little boy, we're gonna
We're used to jump.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
So for this slide,
He's a former NFL star turned esports coach.
I was getting the stink eye from my wife. She's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing."
And one's a dad who can't stop playing Rocket League.
These kids these days, they're like, we're used to jump and run.
Together, they welcome you to Ahman Gamers Lounge.
Where are you headed to, Brandon? Are you staying here?
What's this?
I'm on.
What's this? Who? Oh, he's vegan?
Yeah.
He's vegan? He's vegan. I thought he got pork yesterday.
No, he didn't know you.
I got pork. I got pork.
Maybe.
Yes, I got pork yesterday.
I know.
Would you grab this?
Almost did.
One's a former NFL star turned esports
Oh, yeah.
What you doing?
And one's a dad who can't stop playing Rocket League.
Kids these days, they're like, we're used to jump.
Together, they welcome you to
Oh, it's a lot. Oh, it's like all right.
I know. I think that Simon Lynch, you need to get Simon Lynch Thursday.
Anytime Friday, Thursday.
One's a former NFL star turned esports coach.
But I was getting the stink eye from my wife. She's like, what you doing?
And one's one's a dad who can't stop playing rocket.
These kids these days, they're like, we're used to jump and run.
Together, they welcome you to Ahman Green's Gamers Lounge.
Sure.
One's a former NFL star turned esports coach.
But I was getting the stain from my wife. She's like, what you doing? I'm like, nothing.
And one's a dad who can't stop playing rocket.
These kids these days, they're like, we're used to jump and run.
Together, they welcome you to Ahman Green's Gamers One's a former NFL star turned esports coach.
But I was getting the stain from my wife. She's like, what you doing? I'm like, nothing.
And one's a dad who can't stop playing rocket.
These kids these days, they're like, we're used to jump.
I haven't tried it yet, but
Together, they welcome you to Ahman Green's Gamers Lounge.
So they were the 2025.
Yeah. Oh, the hot dog.
No, you haven't. Remember, I don't think you have anything. He got
One's a former NFL star turned esports coach.
I was getting the stain from my wife. She's like, what you doing? I'm like, nothing.
And one's a dad who can't stop playing Rocket League.
These kids these days, they're like, we're used to jump and run.
Together, they welcome you to Ahman Green's Gamers Lounge.
Hey, guys, I remember y'all. Double it up. Yeah. Double zero. Oh, you found out.
Well, thank you. Now, you're here, please. Okay, yeah, just say time.
I'll be honest, for years.
Oh, no, that's Jana. Oh, no.
No, well, yeah, let me see what so these two were sent to 21 East is where I kept counting.
Yeah.
So see the accident.
Yeah.
Once a former NFL star, esports coach.
I was getting the snake eye from my wife. She's like,
Oh,
How do I do
I mean, okay, but those ones are common.
together, they welcome
Yeah,
you
yeah,
to
yeah.
Ahman Gray's Gamers
Oh,
Lounge.
which 124? So those are the only two. So the C and 325. Okay, so I need that. And that's when you guys were. Hip on. Okay. So you should. The only other one. Those are fine. The only other thing that I need is to name 8 months. So that's when it's coming to okay.
Premium.
The premium thing is more for the premium. So because you said you don't have the information.
These kids these days, they're like, we're used to jump and run.
You guys, hey, who wants some sandwiches?
I'm gonna put it up. Well, I need that 1099 to put it in.
Yeah.
So get your final on there. I mean, it's gonna have to put it in. Because we got this last video. And she did go from.
Yeah.
It just seems like it would be like.
I might work.
But it's like.
Oh,
I gotta do something vegan as well.
Yeah, I was working. Are you vegan?
Not really, but I can make sure I'm like 90%.
Yeah. And legacy channels. Anytime after 11.
Ahman, we're the same, bro. I could talk for all day.
Yeah.